And good morning. Welcome to No Apologies, Please. It's your brother Greg Meriweather. Man, I'm excited about today's show. We got a brother who he says what he's gonna say. Anyone who knows him knows that he's going to say what he has to say. And I love him for it because when it's all said and done, there's not a lot of agents that do that. You know, a lot of people talk, a lot of people say a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but it's not a lot of people who gonna talk that talk in your face. My brother is he is a lover of the youth. He is a lover of community. Some people can't digest him, but we cut from the same cloth on that. But this brother truly has a heart for the people. I adore him. We argue, we fuss, we come back together, we make up like brothers. But on real talk, I commend him for what he does. I commend him for having a heart that's real, and I'm happy to have him today. And that brother is Anthony Hampton, man. So we're gonna chop it up with him. We're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. We're gonna get his opinions and thoughts. He might say some stuff, but he's free to say it because he's at home here. And so, without further ado, man, I'm gonna welcome my brother to the show. Here comes Anthony Hampton, my brother.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm
No,
blessed.
no doubt you are. Who didn't know that? I'm looking at you.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Hey man,
Thank you.
thank you for being here, brother. It's always a pleasure. Me and you, we chop it up a lot. Sometimes we have to give each other 50 feet. But on real talk, it's always a good conversation because you and I, we share the same sentiment. Most of the time we say it differently, but on real, when we come back together, we always realize that we share the same. We share the same thing. So, brother, introduce yourself and then tell us what you got going on.
Uh, Anthony Hampton. Got the same old going on, man. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I know what's good for my people. What's been good for me. We get together, some music, some food, camaraderie. Everybody know about the basketball. Everybody know I work at Tech. Uh, I just care about the kids, man. I care about kids that look like me, working at Tech. Give me a chance to be around professional black people that I once aspired to be. So I'm working with teachers that got 30 years, 40 years of education and administrators, man, that look like me. They all hear the Anthony Hampton story, and until they got a chance to work with me, it's probably the best year that I've had on any job, being accepted by people that made it, the people that burned the midnight oil. Man, my principal, shout out to him, Principal Shep, all my vice principals, all the deans, my co-workers, like they let me be me. I get called into the principal's office like the students show to be like, Hamp.
Ah.
And I already know I didn't, did something. But it's a pleasure working with people that's like you, man. People that
Yeah,
went to school, man. People that I want these kids to be. I don't want these kids to be me.
yeah, yeah. It's a commendable thing, man. When it's all when we break it all the way down, we realize that y- giving back and loving on the kids is so important, man, because we don't have enough people doing it. So shout out to you for that. So, man, uh, let's get into it, man. So you're at Tech, so you get to see firsthand what's popping off. Um, Tell me your thoughts. Are y'all on spring break, right?
Yeah, we're on spring break right now.
So tell me, man, what's going on in the school?
Uh, you know me, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Our children are putting a strain on the entire educational system.
Okay. Unpack that.
And so when they say don't suspend black kids, don't suspend black males, uh, that's what's hurting us as a people.
Mm.
Punishment, discipline, it has to come from the home. It has to come from the school. It has to come from the community. Like, children have to be made aware of discipline, of consequences. And right now, that's been erased from our community when you say you can't discipline a child at home. And then they
Yeah.
come into your school system not having ever been disciplined, but then now you can't discipline them in the school system. So all the kids that's been raised right or partially raised right or that's trying to achieve greatness, they suffer.
So the
And that's
F,
the
so the
whole
F, so the F gets attention while the
that
A's, while the A's go through hell.
millions of dollars is passed out, given out, funded, appropriated to bad children,
Mm-hmm.
to mischievous children.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if those dollars, time, energy was allocated to the ones that's right on the fence, to the ones that's willing to receive whatever message that's being offered, we'd be in a better place. But when you can't suspend and or discipline black children, they strain your school system.
Yeah. You know, and that's a tough one because I'm one of the challenges in suspension is being at home. It's almost like it's like being under your own government in a sense. So the fear educationally is if I send this young black person, this young black kid home, who's there and what they're gonna do when no one's there. And most parents are gonna be like, don't send them to the crib because they're gonna do some other stuff while they're at the crib. So how do we, you know, discipline is missing in two places. It's missing at home and it's missing in the school. So what do we do? Well, I just answered it, but explain how we get discipline back into our system so that we can one, we can trust our children. Our children we were trusted. We were trusted to be fools. You feel me? We was trusted to be fools. But it's like if you jump off there and act a fool, it was consequences to it. But our parents was like, gone, we gonna leave you to this device. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Don't have nobody in my house. Don't do this. Get your chores done, then you can do whatever. But tell me, how do we instill discipline? How do we get that back into our homes? Because it's a missing dynamic.
It's missing because we've been pushing the wrong message, man, in my opinion.
Okay.
Everybody is pushing generational wealth,
Mhm.
generational wealth, generational wealth. So you work your back, break your back, invest your back, and then you die and you leave everything that you worked your butt off to somebody that ends up being ignorant just because they're a part of your DNA.
Mm.
Nobody's talking about generational knowledge. With
Preach.
Pawpaw and them passed down from their grandparents who was on the plantation, what Big Mama passed down in the kitchen, homemade biscuits, sweet potato. Like none of this knowledge has translated into this generation. And so now we got a whole bunch of eyelashes and skinny jeans.
Real talk. So when you talk about that I've never heard that. That's good. Where you say we don't pass down we talk about generational wealth, but not generational wealth as relates to generational wealth and knowledge. Handing down what's done in the home, handing down what's done in the kitchen, handing down what's done as a man. All those things are missing. So with that being said though, is it do we want it? Do you think we want that? I saw you on the feed yesterday, and you said these babies are hungry for discipline. But it's like if they are, then why aren't they getting it?
You can't discipline anyone if you're not a constant in their lives.
Okay.
If they don't, discipline equates to love. I want to be disciplined, man. At 54 years old, I just told you, Sheldon called me in the office.
Yeah.
Like
It's a distraction.
If you're not disciplined or trying your best to show people the right way, then you hurting them, you cheating them. And so now we got a community of young black males and young black females that have never been disciplined at home, in elementary, in middle school. A lot of them can't spell Indianapolis. And then they age out of high school. So by the time they get to high school, they expect these people that have, like I said, burned the midnight oil to better themselves, to change a child that's been troubled for 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
And then you expect to hand them off to IPS or whatever district, and then they supposed to work their magic, and then by the time they get a diploma, they're a striving citizen.
Yeah.
It ain't
with
gonna happen.
Nothing. Yeah, with nothing. 9 times out of 10, most of these young people who are walking across this stage and getting a diploma are ill prepared. They're not even ready for the competitive part of the world. And when you think about it, Hamp, you realize that a lot of these young people, the sensitivity is created because we've done nothing to let them know how harsh this world is. It's cute coming up, but then all of a sudden you get out into this world and it's like, nah, ain't nobody coddling you, ain't nobody telling you, ain't nobody pushing you to do nothing. It's over. Now we competition, and in competition, I'm coming to see you. So therefore, I'm not going to be out here like, come on, you need to come to class. Come on, you need to go to work. It's parents, real talk. We got to talk about this. There are mothers who still wake their sons up every single morning for his entire time in school, but then think he's going to become a grown man who knows how to get himself up to go to work. That is unbelievable. How do we change that? Because if he can't have the discipline to set his own alarm, you got cell phones with alarms, you got Alexa with an alarm, you got TVs with alarms, you got all kinds of stuff to help you get up, and they don't make these young men do any of it. But how do we change that?
It's the discipline and the generational knowledge.
Okay.
We grew up when the chickens, when the birds, when the sun, wasn't no alarm, wasn't no cell phone. Your body was adjusted because of discipline to get up. I don't have no alarm clocks or nothing.
That's real.
Every morning, my body wake me up at 3:45 a.m.
4 o'clock.
Period.
No doubt. No doubt.
But that discipline, believe it or not, came from prison.
Preach on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if haven't been disciplined by my grandma, my mama, the penal system, and now my principal, I still continue to bang my dumb head.
Yeah.
But somebody loved Hamp enough to say this is wrong. I don't get into it with nobody, but everybody say I'm angry. Everybody know me.
Right.
I've been to 3 or 4 community meetings and expressed my views years ago. I get into it with you more than anybody in Indianapolis. But the message is that I'm an angry black man.
Facts.
Everywhere I go, children and their parents love Hamp. Everywhere. Like, that's undeniable. Hamp ain't never chased the money. That was once a saying. Hamp is hard to work with. That was once a saying. I work with Divine 9 members easily. My problem has always come with the middleman. The middleman.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that tried to put salt on my name, a lot of them been terminated from their positions or forced to resign from their positions.
Yeah.
Because the intent was never about the babies, man. It was never about the community. Like they'll never tell you that football field in Stanley Strader Park, that's something that I came up with. Shout out to Miss Kim Boyd. It would not be a voice, Anthony Hampton, without Miss Kim Boyd. Yeah. Miss Kim Boyd invited me to a table because she knew my work ethic. She knew what I did in the community. I asked them to redo the streets in that community. I asked, and what they call it, minutes. CICF took the minutes from the meetings. I asked for the football field because the children had nothing to do. The field was flooding.
Yeah.
But the team that's going to occupy the football field, brother, they currently practice directly across the street from the projects right off 30th and Arlington. There's been several homicides there this year. Several kids killed in them. Like, we've discussed this.
Yeah.
So when they say it's about hemp, shout out to EJ Triplett. Shout out to Indy Parks. Shout out to Frank Mascari. Frank Mascari sit and listen to me ruffle and grumble, and he said, Hampton, it takes time. He sent me, I walked the park with the architect.
So when you think about the parks now and you see the revamping, you see the money being placed in them, but you realize that the money is being placed in them because we're going to be displaced. What's the message that's being sent to the youth? Because right now we can do all the things that we want to do in our communities. The likelihood of us being there is not great. So we can talk to all the officials that we want, but at the end of the day, they know that they're going to take it from us. So by the time it gets fixed, it ain't for us no more. So what are we doing from that perspective? It's a tough message, but it's
my whole thing is that a thriving park is a thriving community. And life is created for any neighborhood in a park. The barbecues, the kickball, the sports, the music, the social, like that's the heartbeat of a community. A lot of these communities are already in process, like Prospect, the whole South Side area, the new jail. Like the city is growing.
Yeah.
They say that we didn't pay attention. Once they took over 2-4, that populace went to the Far East Side.
Right.
Then once they start gentrifying the entire inner city, that populace went to the Far East Side. Yeah. So now the Far East Side got a gumbo of poor people that's been displaced from their original habitats. See how we say? Yeah. My whole fight is, or not fight, is that we know these people are lower income, including myself. We know that a lot of these safe housing complexes is mostly single Black women with children. I'm praying that there's a push to redevelop what we used to call projects, because we know you can look at the food stamp data, the lunch data, the free lunch data. We know that these children don't have adequate housing.
True.
We can develop a new couple sets of low income, not what's the catchphrase? Affordable income.
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing. We can't afford no housing, man.
Yeah. No.
But
Affordable housing. I said it yesterday is about 170,000 for a home in Indianapolis. Affordable housing is not affordable for most of us. That's why 3 out of 10 Black people own a home. And then rent is astronomical because Black people are renting. The rent in Indianapolis is I think we ranked 5th in the nation. At one point, we were #1 for increases for rent in the nation, and we don't have a cap on that. And the reason we don't have a cap on that is because 70% of Black people rent. It's racism through economics, and racism has always been economics. We just don't look at it from that perspective. So if 70% of Black people rent, then you realize that the rate of rent is going to go through the roof because it will eliminate Black people from living in Indianapolis. Therefore, going back to the park thing, parks for Black people. Black parks are made for people that own, not for people that rent. Let's keep it 100.
And the thing is we don't have nothing, man. Racism it's been here. Like, that's the generational knowledge. Like, if you don't know that this country is built on this and how to maneuver through it, they put people that look like me in places, and they play defensive linemen against any work that I try to navigate or get done.
That's right.
But it don't stop it. I have pastors, they shout holy God, several of them, not just one, that I've encountered that made me realize that that's why my confidence is so sky high, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that I've witnessed in my lifespan, I listen to people, I listen to everybody. You smart as heck. Sabeko, smart as heck. I take bits and pieces from everybody, man. God has blessed me to do that. But I'm an easy learner. You see what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And everything I retain. So people think that I'm the best French fry maker and drive through. And I'll let them continue to carry that.
No doubt.
But I know that up here, I can run the whole demonstration.
Well,
but it's easier for me not to argue with people anymore to prove who I am or my value to anything. Just watch me work.
Sure. So why do you think that, people such as you and I who actually are authentic in what we bring to the people, authentic in how we challenge the status quo, what makes us the villain? Why are we the villains?
I'm going to speak for myself.
Okay. Why are you the villain?
And I ain't going to say I'm a villain. It's
You're
just
not
it
a
goes
villain,
back to the generational knowledge.
but you're going to be vilified for being that.
Yeah, but that's part of being a black man with confidence.
Okay.
Period. That's for every black man that's confident in who he is. At some time in their life, they're going to play the villain. I'm fine with that. I know that God loves me, and I know that I'm doing it from the heart.
Yeah.
The generational knowledge allows me to know that there's no excuses for a black man, that a black man has to work 10 times harder than anybody, that a black man can be created to be the angry black man in elementary because he's smart. So for me to continue to use that the white man is holding me back, the white man is holding me back, there's several avenues and ways for me to move to avoid certain situations to where they say he's the angry black man. But I grew up on discipline. My grandfather combed my afro from the back to the front. He didn't play with it. He went straight through it.
He went straight through, yeah.
When I got disciplined by my mother, I had to go get 3 switches. I knew what she required in a switch.
No doubt. No doubt. You couldn't go
So
get
I
nothing
just
weak, because if you went and got something weak, it was a problem. That's real. That's
I
so
lived
real.
in the South for a few years as a child. If white folks didn't like you, they didn't like you. But everybody down south spoke. Everybody was hospitable. Everybody was mannerable. It wasn't no, I got a black friend. It wasn't
Right.
none of that. I don't mess with you, black guy. And the black people, your people will tell you, stay away from that white man. He crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
But he better
yeah,
not put a foot on my land.
yeah.
It's it's knowing what's right and what's wrong. Being politically correct has destroyed our people. Letting other people tell us what shouldn't be done to black people has destroyed us. I got in trouble. I broke the law. I went to prison.
Hmm.
It wasn't no in between.
Yeah.
And
So
so that discipline.
when you think about it, so I remember being inside the schools, working inside the schools, and I was deemed a distraction. When you realize that 2% of the teachers in America are black men, 2%. And even at that, just black men's presence, we don't realize our community has lost something because they don't realize the presence of a black man is a present because he's the protector, he's the wisdom, he's the trailblazer, he's the enforcer. He's all these things that we've diminished. I heard someone, and this is not a knock to my sisters, but I watched a guy say, if a woman were a man with her same qualities and attributes, she'd be the weakest man. She couldn't whoop nobody, couldn't really protect nobody. Any dude that she ran up on would basically be able to handle her if she kept the same stuff, but was just a man. And the sad part about it is when you walk in those schools, I remember walking into, and I don't work for them no more, so I'll say it. I remember being in Pike High School, and I remember I was still doing a show, and they would literally, Leroy Robinson from the city council would watch my show, and he had affiliations with Pike. And if I said anything about Pike, I would get pulled into the office. And so it was like, don't talk about the school. And I'm like, the school is jacked. I used to watch young men walk girls backwards, holding their butt cheeks. I used to listen to kids say anything that they wanted to say, and teachers would stand still. They could walk down the halls and curse. They could curse at each other. They could yell, scream, and holler. They could push, touch, do anything. It was, now I've not been to prison, but I definitely have been to jail. And it looked like a cell block. Schools look like a freaking cell block. And
So
if
can
you
I
were
say
to walk
something to
in
you?
there, you would never know it. Go ahead, bro.
So it goes back to the we can't suspend black males.
Yeah,
But if we don't suspend black males, then our schools look like miniature prisons.
they do.
Or and that's the whole problem, man. Everybody think that, throw that racism crap out the window, man. Everybody got an opportunity to be great.
Okay.
Everybody, there is more Hispanic restaurants in Indianapolis than McDonald's.
We're gonna talk about that though.
Throw the whole racism out the window, man.
But
I
you got
work
to look
with
at that, Hamp. It is racism. Let me tell you why. Let's unpack that. I have two guys that I know. One is from Mexico, one is from Venezuela. Once I started talking to them, what the social cast that's created by white America embraces the Hispanic community, because what it does is it gives them the mindset to get on their team because it says black people are lazy. But when you look and you realize that now Hispanic people in New York are getting $9,000 a month while being illegal, while black people get nothing. You look in Chicago, you're getting $6,000 a month for doing nothing, yet black people who have been here forever don't get anything. They're taking community centers that once were for black people and housing Latino people simply because it creates a mindset to say, well, something's wrong with them. And then they automatically get into the racist channel of saying black people are lazy, black people don't work hard, black people don't want nothing. So all of a sudden they become more like white folk and they defend the system that goes against black people. So when it's all said and done, the things that they get, the restaurants, the openings, the dollars, the funding, no taxes, no nothing, is so that they can become this new social caste It's the same thing they did with the mulatto people. People that had white blood in them, they treated them different. If you passed the brown paper bag system, they treated you differently. So therefore you defended master instead of saying, hold on, you still mistreating these people. So they've created a social caste with Hispanic people to say, we get on board with them because this is the land of opportunity for us, but it's never been the land of opportunity for Black people.
We came here to work.
We came here to work.
We came here to work. And I didn't want you to take what I said the wrong way. Sure. What I was trying to say is that for any Black person who wants to be different than their parents were, there's no excuse.
Okay.
Like the only excuse is the Black person.
Okay.
Like we have the right to get to, yeah, there's a whole lot of barriers and hurdles.
Absolutely. Tons.
But you made it through the maze. Mm-hmm. All the educators that I work with, they made it through the maze. So there's a GPS breadcrumbs that's been laid how to get through this maze, man. So when you say Black people are lazy or that type of, our kids don't do schoolwork, man.
No, they don't.
Like our kids don't, like I'm not great to come on your show and be lie and be pro-Black, fight the power. I'm gonna tell you what's in the pudding.
Okay.
It's about 2,500, 2,700 students at Tech. Mm-hmm. Probably 12 Caucasian students. Maybe 1,000 Black, 1,100. The majority is Hispanic children.
Okay.
There's a group of Hispanic children that put stressors on the school system. But when I look at all the kids that's cutting, all the kids that's late in the hallway,
it's us.
Always Black.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So I got, they call me Mr. Hampton. They call me OG. They call me old MFer, old bald head MFer. They call me Paw Paw. They might call me a snitch, a rat, a bee.
Jeez.
But what I love is that they calling me.
Okay.
And so when you calling me, that means that you want me for something. Whether you're going through a fit of rage, it's something about old bald head MF that you want to unpack to old bald head MF. And that's a gift from God. The Hispanic population, Latinx population, the African children, the Haitian children, they love my old behind just like Black children.
Sure.
The 12 or 13 white children, they love my old behind just like Black children. Latinx children are extremely respectful.
Absolutely.
They remind me of us when we grew up because they still got family. They still got grandma. They still got pawpaw. They still got generational knowledge.
And they hold them in high regard. No disrespect all day. You're right. All day.
That's Mr. Mm-hmm. Are our children, and we can say by design, but we let them get too wild with these guns. We let them get too wild with this music. We let them not. I got a 19-year-old.
I got 21. Yeah.
And so this whole generation, this is all they know. But you ain't great be like that. I ain't got no master's, no PhD, but I got some generational knowledge, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you this, man. Let's look at something real quick. I want to share with the people and then get your thought on it. You know, we always got to bring up something, don't we? So you got Senate bill number 1. Let's look at this. Senate Bill number 1, digest, provides that the Department of Education department may grant certain individuals a waiver that provides an exception to literacy endorsement requirements if the department submits a report to the Legislative Council by a specified date. Requires certain students beginning with the 2024-25 school year to offer summer schools for students who are not reading proficient or are at risk of not being reading proficient as indicated on the determinate evaluation of reading skills approved by the State Board of Education. Expands eligibility for funding for summer school courses. Requires certain summer school courses to be taught by a teacher, instructor, or tutor who is trained in the science of reading. Provides that if a student does not achieve a 90% attendance rate in summer reading courses, the student is required to participate in an individual reading plan in the following school year. Requires that the Department of Education to procure a universal screening assessment that meets certain criteria. Requires certain schools to administer the assessment to students in kindergarten through grade 2 who are not on track for reading proficiency by grade 3 as determined by the department. Requires that the State Board of Education to establish a method for virtual administration of the iLearn statewide assessment. Provides that a vendor must apply a student's assessment results to student and the student's parents. Applies the reading deficiency remediation plan to public schools, charter schools, state accredited non-public schools, and eligible schools. Makes the following changes to the plan. 1, beginning with the evaluation administered in the 24-25 school year, requires retention of a student in grade 3 in addition to remediation if the student has not achieved a passing score on the evaluation. 2, requires a student to notify students' parents of certain assessment results, interventions, or remedial actions to provide the student. So this bill just passed, and students are going to be able to be held back if they're not reading proficiently. Who is that going to affect?
And you know why it's going to affect us?
Talk to me.
The generational knowledge. Because ain't nobody teaching you in the Bible. You're not reading in the Bible. You're not quoting Bible verses. You're not learning Psalms 23. You're not going to Sunday school. And your parents aren't reading to you at night.
Parents don't read.
And so once that's on us, man. Like all of that is on us. The sad thing about it is that everybody makes millions of dollars off our I'm gonna say it, laziness.
Yeah.
In every realm of blackness, deficiencies. Everybody else makes, a lot of us do too.
Sure.
Because
it's the new hustle. Our failure is a major hustle.
What is so hard about having the same 20-word spelling list, having to write the same 20 words 10 times each, having to write the definition for each word 5 times each, from 2nd grade through 6th grade? What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
That
was part of growing up, wasn't it? Wasn't that part of growing up? I mean, I'm looking at the feed. I remember when you used to have a spelling test every week, and you used to walk in the house and you'd have to go through all the words. Like you was getting ready for that joint. Like it was a basketball game. Like you really was like studying those words, like everything. And you used to be like, me and my brother, my brother be like, all right, man. I'd be like, you ready? He'd be like, I'm ready. I'd be like, all right. I give him the word. He had to spell it. And it was like part of growing up. I'm like, where is that now?
But you know what else was part of growing up? Was when you came in the house from school on Monday thinking you ready to go outside and play. And they'd be like, where that spelling list at?
That's real. That's real.
So you couldn't avoid learning.
Yeah.
But we had pride, like, go ahead, pass my 100 back.
Yeah.
Pass my 100 on back here.
Yeah. Grandmother, grandfather be like, where did you get your lesson?
The pride from the generational knowledge, being proud of who you are, being
Yeah,
proud of your family name. Don't leave out
man,
my house and act like no N-word.
that's real. Parents were highly involved. Parents were highly involved back then. It was like it's something when when you come from the generation of like my grandparents who had to drop out of school to work, who came from sharecropping and all that. It's like they just were like so hell bent on you knowing more than them. It was like you need to know how to read, you need to know how to spell. The areas in which we suffered, we want you to be better. We work to provide you with the ability to be able to spell and to read and to write and to do math and all this kind of stuff. There was a big sacrifice. It was like our foundation cared that we knew more than them. Now ignorance is winning.
Mr. Meriweather,
Yes, sir.
at 40 plus years old, I had a felony background and just a GED.
Hmm.
I worked at Riley's on 38th and Post
Hmm.
because I had children.
Yeah.
So when people say they know Hampton, like I'm gonna do what I ain't too proud. I'm too proud to beg, and I'm too proud to be a do boy or a peon for somebody else's success or greatness. So I go make some of the best fries. You see what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not too proud, man.
Yeah.
But when I worked there was teenagers there. Young
Yeah.
lady that ended up going to TSU, she's doing amazing. It ain't because of me, of
Sure.
course, but I was definitely pushing that be great or
Yeah.
be me.
Boy, be great or be me. Wow. Wow.
And so
That's deep.
now adults are actors.
Yeah.
Black adults are actors.
Hmm.
A
Explain that.
preacher cannot let you know that he's looking at another woman's butt. He just got to move on to the next sermon. A teacher can't tell you that she's getting drunk as a skunk at night.
That's right.
She got to come and be an educator.
Thespians, actors,
Children
absolutely.
are the most honest form of human on the planet. They get ruined by adult actors.
Sure.
So
Man,
I
that's so
pride
real.
myself on just being Hamp. You're going
You
to get
know,
what you're going to get every time.
one of the saddest things, I mean, you just said a mouthful. It's three people in this country that don't even get drug tested. That's teachers, politicians, and police. The other thing is this: when you think about it, some of the biggest actors, it's a shame that our world has made ministers actors because you basically say you can't be in front of me without being perfect and everything. And then this is not to get churchy, but the Bible is full of imperfect people that carried out a perfect will. It's full of flawed people. If they ever really read it, they would be like, God used people that was off the chain to do great stuff. But we don't live in a world where transparency is welcomed. That's why so many young people are dying early because they're dying being someone else and not themselves. Tupac Shakur, I say this all the time, you know this. Tupac Shakur would be alive today if he would have been his true self as opposed to posing as a gangster.
That was me. I
Yeah,
was that dude until they set my dumb down in Westville for them years
yeah,
and put me around 2,000 plus other actors.
yeah,
I was like, no, this ain't me. This ain't the kid that did the spelling test that got the hundreds. This ain't
yeah,
the kid that scored well on the ASVAB. This ain't the kid that got kids at home now.
yeah.
And I'm laid up in prison with 2,000 other actors.
Real.
I'm stronger than you. I
Yeah,
sold more dope than you. I
yeah,
killed more than you.
yeah,
That ain't my destiny.
yeah.
When I go, I just want that hyphen to mean something
Preach.
to somebody.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Tyrone Chandler said, "We expect mediocrity as if it's we respect mediocrity as if it's greatness." Listen, I said it, Tyrone. I said that Indianapolis adores mediocrity. We give out awards for failing stuff, like, and it's the saddest thing I've ever seen, because what happens is the people, these groups of people will get together and they will create an award ceremony to give out awards to their friends while all of them are failing. I call it the failure awards, or the loser awards, because when I look out here, we ain't got no business giving awards for diversity. Ain't no diversity champions when Black people are last in everything good and first in everything bad. When Black men are unemployed, where we only 3 out of 10 of us own a house, where we look in corporate boards and Black people are not represented. When we look at the state house and it's a super majority and most of them white, 92 counties and most of them are white. And we got people that are standing there getting trophies, talking about, I'm making a difference in diversity. Ain't no diversity in this town. You got a cultural trail in Indiana, in Indianapolis, that don't have no culture but one. And we sit there and do awards. We do awards for peacekeeping and everything else. And when you get done with it, murder rates is going through the roof. People are still dying. How the hell are you supposed to be someone who is making a difference in this community? And we are failing and still having galas, award ceremonies, parties. Come on. When you look at this thing, we should not be giving out awards to nobody unless it's something of significance. But that's you hit it on the head. We give out crazy. We like mediocrity, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So, I want to look at this bill real quick, Ham, before we move on. Let's look at this bill that just got passed. So this is a new bill. So this is the state Senate Enroll Act number 185, and basically it says, as used in this section, instructional time has the meaning set forth IC 2032-1. As used in this section, wireless communication devices means any portable wireless device that has the capability to provide voice, messaging, or other data communication between 2 or more parties, including 1 cellular telephone, 2 tablet computer, 3 laptop computer, 4 gaming device. C, each school, corporation, and charter school shall adopt and implement a wireless communication device policy that 1, except as provided in subdivision 2 and 3 and subjection, prohibits a student from using a wireless communication device during instructional time. 2, authorizes a teacher to allow a student to use a wireless communication device for educational purposes during instructional time. And 3, permits a student to use a wireless communication device in the event of an emergency to manage the student's whatever. So when I look at this, so cell phones have been banned unless authorized by a teacher. What do you see in the schools as it relates to cell phone, and how have they become such a big distraction in the schools?
One, the teachers, the most successful teachers that I've encountered since I've been working at tech are the ones that take your cell phones. Mm-hmm. You enter the class, I need that from you, buddy. No doubt. We ain't gonna even go down that route. You're not gonna get a text from your girlfriend. You're not gonna be on Instagram. You got off the bus to get a lesson. So that's what you're gonna get. The teachers that allow the cell phones are the teachers that had the most distractions. Those are the ones that I always call them, Mr. Hampton, can you come get so-and-so? He's on his phone. He won't put down his phone. Another thing is that cell phones show everything. Mm-hmm. They show everything that is wrong with the school system. Yep. So you look up and children have done created a page on Instagram of all fights.
True.
You just seen kids on social media using drugs, kids on social media with guns. The phone has destroyed. Instead of them use it, like we had to walk to use my auntie encyclopedias, the dictionary set. We ain't had that. We had to go to the auntie with the plastic on the furniture.
Yeah.
They got a cheat in their hand. And they don't even use that. They won't even Google that. They won't Google
Boy,
none of the lessons, read through it because they can't read.
boy, they got all the answers in their hands.
So when you talk about education as a whole, we messed up, man. Our children can't read currently.
No.
And so reading should be part of the grant funding that everybody receiving. I didn't have nothing. I told this story several times. When we went on summer break, I would read books. And when I went back to the 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, whatever books I read would be the lies that I would make up when the teacher say, "What you do for vacation?" So I'd write a report from a book that I read and made that character myself.
Wow.
I'm on the beach with Grandma and them. I done been in this room in this hot room because we ain't got no air.
You can say it.
And I'm on punishment. So I'm reading.
Yeah.
Now, when I was on punishment, I had to read. And I was always on punishment.
Yeah. James Webb, what's up, brother? He said, "I truly believe smartphones should be for ages 18 and up." You know, I think that it's twofold, because you're right, Hemp. The answers are right in their hands. But the bad thing is what they use the phone for. I say this all the time. I said this to a group of young people. I said, what is it that rich people own but never use? They own all of it, but they never are involved with it. It's something that rich people own, but they never use it. And they said, what is that? I said, distractions. I said, rich people own all the distractions, all the sports teams, all the television shows, all the games, all the smartphones, everything that would distract a poor person, rich people own it. And don't use none of it. It's so you can stay where you are. Unless you use it wisely, then it's a fail. And we don't even think like that.
We don't think that they tricked us out of Black History Month with the NBA All-Star game. They tricked back. We heard nothing about Black history in Indianapolis.
Not a thing.
That entire month.
Not a thing. And we took every Black dollar and gave it to white institutions, and said we had a great time.
So when we see the youth breaking records and homicides and
yeah,
non-gun violence and whatever, domestic, all this, it's because it's the adults' fault, man. Yeah. It's our fault. Like, I post a lot about what I'm doing as motivation, man. Yeah. I'm not the only brother doing we got 20 teams. Without 20 brothers saying I got a team, it ain't no 20. This ain't just H.A.M.P. Like Low, for instance. Shout out to Low Max. I tried to keep this under wraps, man.
You on here?
I tried to keep this under wraps. Low, I got an award for you, bro. I've been sneaking behind your back, man. So if anybody love Low, come out to the game Thursday. Come out to JTV Hill Thursday. We gonna honor Low. We gonna honor Low. It ain't never without Low, without Scotty, without Shiner, without like, it ain't just H.A.M.P. These are people that trust H.A.M.P. I got 20 different men coaching teams.
Yeah.
So these kids get to speak to 20 different men that they expect to see.
Al Montgomery. Yep. Shout out. Yep.
So this ain't, I'm just a loud one, of course. But this ain't just no H.A.M.P. train. It ain't like that, bro. Miss Lynette coming there with Grippos, Mighty Bites, Laffy Taffies. But I respect Low, bro. You hear me? Like I love Low Max.
No doubt.
Low Max is so
I ain't gonna say much.
Ain't gonna say much. Kill. So I call Low and I be like, "It's time, bro." He'd be like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah.
Whether it's with the young adults, the children, I respect Low because he never, ever do nothing but smile That's it. Like, I've never seen him rattle.
Never.
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 And he's so genuine, man.
Yeah.
He is super genuine. So, Miss Lomax, I apologize. I couldn't keep it in. Miss Lynette, I apologize. I couldn't keep it in. If I'm going to let the community know that I care about Black children, I got to let the community know that I care about Black men as well.
And when is this taking place?
Thursday, April 4th, JTV Hill Center, 5 p.m. We're going to honor Lomax.
Absolutely. That's a good brother on Real Talk. Real Talk. That's a good brother. So here, man, we wrapping up, man. You know, we it's so funny because it sounds like our phone conversations. It really does. So, man, tell the people, you know, what you got going on, where they can find you.
We got the spring league going on, working on the summer league, man. We got all the teams. So it's just about knocking out the red tape, so to speak. For one, I want to say shout out to Sarita Edwards.
Yeah.
Without Sarita, none of this would be possible that Hamp got going on at all.
Yeah.
Man, I love Sarita like she was my sister. And when everybody turned their back on me, Sarita loved Hamp. I want to shout out a new nonprofit for reaching out saying, what can we do with your spring league to help? It's called the Diamond Club. And the only thing I had left was to get trophies. And they said, we got them. Shout out to all the people behind the scenes that support Hamp. I don't bring up their names because I don't want to tarnish their names by having a relationship with me.
I know the feeling.
But there's a ton of people, man, that support Hamp. I love y'all. Let's just say that. Thank you, Meriweather. I started the show by saying that I don't beef with nobody in the city more than you. So if me and you can beef and always continue to work out whatever our issues are,
yes, sir.
It's conflict resolution, right?
That's it.
And I am upset about how you presented me yesterday. Which you say loud.
Be loud.
Tough. Man, I weigh 185 pounds. Ain't nothing tough about me, man. Hey, I love you, bro.
You know I love you, boy. On Real Talk, man. I'm so glad. But Miss Lori, she said, where do you get send any donations? How do they do that for you?
KIDZCOUNTAH $. Kids count AH.
Right,
Miss Lori, you know, you done bought me a couple steak dinners. Thank you.
Miss Lori, no. So, brother, man, I just want to say I thank you. Shout out to, you know, all the laymen, all the people on here that are out in the community just doing great work. All the, you know, the people who support these initiatives. Anthony Hampton is doing his thing, man. I know that you're a jewel to those kids in tech, man. And, you know, they may call you an old bald MF and all kind of stuff, but when it's all said and done, man, you know, these children, you know, a lot of them, your dad, your uncle, you know, they call you a lot of stuff. You dad, your uncle, you big brother, your cuz, you're all sorts of things, because when it's all said and done, a lot of these kids don't get to see Black men who push them in a direction that can garner a great life. I just want to say thank you.
2 more seconds, man.
Sure, go ahead, brother.
I want to shout out Miss Turnley. She's a senior counselor at Tech. She's become my personal counselor. I ain't paid her yet. I want to shout out, thank you to Mr. Muhammad, Mr. Maddox, Miss Lee, who am I? Miss Thomas. That's my team, man. I'm missing somebody. I'm sorry. Mr. Moore. All my deans, the students, like I love Tech, man, and Tech love me. So no matter what you hear about Tech, they got a lot of caring people. It ain't just Hamp.
Sure.
They got a lot of caring people that care about other people's kids. And there's a lot of opportunities with trades.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Hamp, you already know, man, you're always welcome back. Anything you need to put out there, man, you let me know. and we'll make it happen, man. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Go do something today. Go make a kid's life better. Go enjoy yourself. I know it's spring break, but go do something special, bro.
I got 6 grandkids in there laid up on.
I think
Just
I might have
waiting
heard
on me.
them.
I love
All
you,
right, brother,
bro.
man. I love you, man. Hey, man, it's been Anthony Hampton, brother. You have a great day, bro. Peace. Man, it's always good, to hear from my brother. We chop it up often, and we go hard with each other, and that's I said that who was it? Toby Miller was on, and he said iron sharpens iron. And I said, if you're not iron, that means you're just gonna get cut. And Hampton and I, we go hard, man. Hampton been trying to get me to move from Indianapolis for a long time, but nonetheless, man, that's my brother, and I love him dearly. So, man, let's get to this quick verse of the day. It's 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. I appeal to you, brothers and sisters, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you agree with one another in what you say, and that there be no division among you, but that you be perfectly united in mind and in thought. And I just want us to get on one accord, man. When it's all said and done, Hampton and I, like I said, we can battle, we can argue, but when it's all said and done, we strive for the same thing, and that's to better empower our community and make things better, make our young people better, make our old people get in line. And we need more agents. We need more people. We need more discipline. We need more, what did he say? Generational knowledge. Knowledge is power. There is more. Listen, if you go on it, if you get the knowledge, man, the bag is simple. That's real. Because when you start thinking differently, so a man thinketh, so is he. When you start thinking differently, and when we get on one accord, man, let me tell you something. Nelson Mandela said it. He said, you could do a whole lot like this as individuals. But when you come together like this, there's power. And we got to get to a point where we start operating like this and exercise with the power that exists in us. One of the greatest things I've ever seen is a choir. It's amazing. Every race of people, when they hear Black people sing together, it does something. I want y'all to think about that. When you hear the unison, the alto, the tenor, the soprano, the bass, and you hear all that unison, and you realize that when we come together and on one accord, it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to hear. And I just want us to get to that point where we get that unison together, because I know if we do, that's the key. They want to keep us separate, but if we get it together, oh, what a day it's going to be. So, man, this has been y'all brother. Tomorrow, man, we're going to have another guest. I'm not going to tell y'all who it is, but we're going to have another guest. I'll make sure I put it out on Facebook. We'll have another guest tomorrow, man. This has been an amazing week. I hope that we have been able to educate and empower the community in a mighty way. So we'll finish out the week tomorrow. We'll have another guest, and it's going to be a great time, man. Thank you all for watching. No apologies, please. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a great one. Peace.